Given everything that's happening in the world, whether it's the coronavirus, the global pandemic, or our recovery, chances are the marketing playbook you started off with in 2020 will not work for the rest of 2020. So in this video, I'm going to be teaching you my 3 principles on how to adapt your SaaS lead generation techniques so that you can upgrade your marketing playbook and still thrive in 2020. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, author of the book, How to Punch the Sunday Jitters in the Face, entrepreneur and SaaS founder. On this channel, I bring you an episode every Sunday and every Wednesday to help startup founders like you become unstoppable in your life and your business through belief and discipline. I drop an episode every single Sunday and Wednesday, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so that you get notified every single time I drop an episode. I feel like I said drop an episode like 5 times, but anyway, I bring the TK energy. Okay, so if you are a startup founder or you're a SaaS marketer, chances are your standard lead generation techniques aren't working as well right now in this very moment in 2020 because everything has changed. And I know that marketing leaders have always said everything has changed, but truly, everything has changed. And so in this episode, based on everything that I've learned around sales and marketing, around go-to-market motions, in my Tout app journey and in my Marketo journey, I'm going to be walking you through the 3 principles that I'm advising every single one of my founders on that are part of my Unstoppable SaaS Startup School. So if you're excited to dig in and walk through these 3 principles on how you can continue to generate leads even through these times, how you can upgrade your playbook and adapt, go ahead and smash that like button and let's get started. Now, the first thing you got to realize, and you may know this already, is the standard ways, your standard messaging, the playbook you started with in the beginning of the year isn't going to work anymore. So what you need to do is actually adapt your messaging. This is particularly true if a lot of your messaging was aspirational, meaning that stuff just won't work anymore. If you're thinking about a better future and transforming everything, you're going to have to push a little bit harder and get a little bit more brass tacks. Some shortcuts that I've been teaching people on how to adapt your messaging is you got to highlight things around cost savings now. You got to highlight things around safety and protection. And you also, as a trick, if you're really aspirational, you got to highlight on how you can survive now so you can thrive later. Now, there are different stages of companies that are reacting to this in different ways. And I'll get to this in step number 3. But the trick to this is understanding that no one is going to make extra spends right now. Every spend that they're making, whether it's on software, which you're selling, or anything else, or if they're thinking about cutting, they're going to be thinking about, well, what's going to save us money? What's going to protect us? What's going to help us survive? And then they're going to think about, well, what can we do now if we've got some extra dollars to invest in so that we survive now? Not only survive now, we adapt now, but we also not just adapt now, but thrive once we get past this. And we will get past this. So the first principle is you gotta adapt your messaging, focusing on cost savings, safety and protection, surviving now and thriving later. Once you've done that, the second thing you need to do, and you probably have seen other brands shift this already, but I'm a big believer, even if we weren't in the middle of a global pandemic, is you gotta do people over your brand. Everyone is looking more for leadership than ever before. And so you got to stop tweeting out and messaging things out just under your startup's brand. It could be awesome.io and it could be amazing, but it's not good enough anymore. You, the startup founder or the CEO or the CMO has to get out in front. People are looking for leadership right now, and therefore people are more stronger and more powerful to convey the message to attract attention than the brand. Which is why you see so many CEOs getting up front and talking about how they're dealing with the crisis, what they're doing. People are craving leadership and you want to be able to lead. And a couple of things you need to be doing as a leader. You need to get in front of your clients. You need to get in front of your customers. You need to get in front of your employees. And that needs to be part of your lead generation and your marketing strategy. You need to be able to put out messaging out there where you're leading, where you're serving in a bigger way, and you're putting out your unique point of view on how to navigate these times. If you can do that truly in an authentic way, and then tie that to your product, you're gonna be unstoppable. Before I go to the third one, let me just pause here for a second. If you are starting to get this, if you're starting to see, you know what, we do need to shift, we are in a different time, but there's a way, and there's always a way. If you're starting to see this, let me just get a yes in the comments below. And while you're at it, I want to hear from you. How has your lead generation techniques changed? Have you seen a change in pipeline? Have you seen a change in demand? Have you seen a change in churn? Let me hear from you so we can all compare notes. Okay. And by the way, if you are looking to actually build out this thing where you are the brand and you are leading and you're going out with a unique point of view, I have a very special training. I have a 45-minute go-to-market training that you can go check out. Don't worry, I will link to it below on how to get to that free go-to-market training where I'll teach you how to actually establish yourself as the brand and go out there and lead. And that could be a really differentiated way to generate demand, to generate leads for your SaaS business. Okay, now let's go to the third thing, okay? The third thing is you gotta also understand specific behavior based on market segmentation. So these are some broad strokes and they're true for the entire population, end to end. However, Harvard Business Review did an entire study around this, and turns out market segmentation is super important here. Now, I did an entire video on market segmentation. It actually helps you accelerate your business in more ways than you know. You can check that out video here. I'll link to it below. You don't have to leave right now. But I did a much bigger deep dive into market segmentation, which is an amazing growth principle. But what's important right now is as you're shifting your lead generation messaging, as you're thinking about how you recreate your playbook under the new world, you got to think about market segmentation and specific behavior. What does that mean? Let me explain. I'll link to this study below, but Harvard Business Review did an entire study on how to sell during a recession and what shifts to make or during a downturn. Now, I'm not saying this is a recession. I'm not saying this is a downturn. It still has yet to be seen. However, people's sentiments are different. And what was interesting was they had two things. One was the different consumer segments that they had. So they had people that were slamming on the brakes. They're like, oh my God, we're running out of cash. We got to slam on the brakes. They have people that are pained but patient, meaning they have some money and they're like, okay, this is a pain. We should be prudent. There are people that are comfortably well off. It doesn't really impact them. And there are people that are, regardless of how much money they have, they're going to live for today. Super interesting on these segments. Now, one thing that's 100% true is as soon as there's a downturn or a recession, people tend to still greenlight the essentials, okay? However, when you think about expendables and postponables and treats, all of a sudden for this segment, the slam on the brakes, this goes red, this goes red. For pain but patient, expendables goes red. You can start to see how it becomes harder to sell if your marketing playbook is positioned or makes them perceive it as an expendable, a postponable, or a treat. But if you can position yourself as an essential, now this ties back to the first principle that I had, which was you got to think about cost savings, safety and protection, surviving now and thriving later, and start to see how when you start to shift your messaging around those things, you start to pull back towards positioning yourself as an essential. When you do that, no matter what customer segment you're on, you can still continue to generate business and generate leads because people are still okay with you. And why do I bring this up? The reason I bring this up is that you may be serving a segment where they are live for today, or you may be serving a segment that's comfortably well off. And in that case, you don't necessarily have to force yourself into the essential category. You can still get away with being a postponable or a treat. You can still be a little bit more aspirational and still win business because you're still being authentic. You're not stretching it to being a complete essential. So all is not lost if you can't completely position yourself as one of these four things I mentioned. Then maybe you get into customer segmentation and figure out if there's still a segment of the market that's like, you know what, they're well off and they're going to continue to spend money on this. So let's just keep selling in that way. So to recap, when you are adapting your SaaS lead generation for this market, 2020, there are three things that you need to be doing. Number one, you need to adapt your messaging. Number two, you need to actually put yourself greater than the brand. You need to lead, you need to serve, you need to have a unique point of view. If you want to do that, go to my 45-minute training on how to do that exactly. And number three, you can hyper segment and get very specific around the specific market segment that you're doing. And I'll link to that video down below as well. So if you got value from this video, please smash that like button. Those are the 3 strategies that I have for you to adapt your marketing playbook, your lead generation strategies, so that you can continue to survive and thrive in 2020. Now, if you want to dig more into this, particularly around how you can use my unstoppable sales funnel to continue to generate SaaS leads, even in this environment, that's the core thesis around that is you put people over the brand. If you want to do that, go ahead and follow the link below or go to tkkader.com/SaaS-training. And in there, I'll give you my free 45-minute training on how to use an unstoppable sales funnel to actually thrive and generate leads for your SaaS business. And lastly, I do bring you an episode every Sunday and every Wednesday, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon. If you have a friend that would get value from this, they're stuck trying to figure out how to generate leads as well, share this video with them. It would mean the world to us. And lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business, but when you are with us, yours is gonna be unstoppable. I'm TK, and I'll see you in the next video.